What up, y'all? It's your boy Denim Jeans back at it again with another video. And today we're going to start a little mini series called Top 10. We're going to do the top 10 players at each position leading up into this year. It's mostly based on last season, but I'm taking into account at least partially potential and partially what people have done, not just last year, but like the year before, um, pretty much like the last 2, maybe 3 years of their careers. So we're just gonna jump right into it, not waste any more of your time. Honorable mention: De'Aaron Fox. He just missed my list. He was number 11 on my list. I really like what he's doing for the Kings. Um, playing defense, swiper, facilitating for Buddy Hield, and um, the other members of that Kings team, Harrison Barnes, Marvin Bagley when he comes in, and he just missed my list. But at my number 10, I have Kyle Lowry. Now you may have, what, bro? How do you have Kyle Lowry above De'Aaron Fox? Now let me tell you why. Kyle Lowry, one, he just won an NBA championship, and yes, it was mostly through the play of Finals MVP Kawhi Leonard and most improved player Pascal Siakam. But what Kyle Lowry brings to the team isn't necessarily all stat based. Like he doesn't put up a lot of points, but he'll facilitate the ball. He gets a good number of assists, rebounds pretty well for a point guard, and he plays some damn good defense. And that's one thing I think he does better than De'Aaron Fox, even though De'Aaron Fox does it pretty well, especially for second year player, his third year player. Um, he plays really really good defense, and he's like the glue guy sort of for the Toronto Raptors, similar to how Draymond Green is the glue guy for the Golden State Warriors. The reason that Kyle Lowry is elevated above De'Aaron Fox is he's been doing it for a long time. Plus, excuse me, he was able to lead his team to the number one seed. Not lead his team necessarily, but contribute to his team being a number two seed in the East, making the finals and winning it all. Kyle Lowry, number 10. Number 9 used to be top three, unquestionably top three point guard in the league, Chris Paul. The reason I have him so low, he's putting up pretty good numbers, 19 and 10, which is really good numbers, but he's just hurt all the time. And it's different if it's like a Paul George injury, one-time catastrophic injury that takes time to recover from, but now it's a bunch of injuries over and over again, nagging injuries. Hamstring, that never really goes away. Um, and you can only be as good as you are when you're playing. And if you're not playing, I'm sorry, you're not that good to me. You're useless to me if you're not on the court. If he was healthier, sit on the court more, he'd be higher on my list, but he's not. He plays really good defense for a point guard. Facilitates the ball better than dang near anyone in history. Um, and can score the ball when he needs to. Usually it's in James Harden's hands, but they learn to coexist together, even both being ball dominant. Um, CP3 number 9. Number 8, I have Trae Young. He does the same things as CP3, scoring, facilitating the ball. I think they have similar stats, 19 and 10. But he stays healthy. And yes, it's only been one season, only his rookie year, where he was staying healthy. But after the All Star break, he was playing as good as damn near any point guard in the league. Insane, incredible. He found his shot, learned his teammates, learned the system better. They didn't win many games, but they were all young. Their best player is probably right now, Trae Young or John Collins, and they're both second or been playing the league 2, 3 years or less. But Trae Young, I'm really excited for what the Hawks got, especially after drafting DeAndre Hunter, and getting another year of Trae Young and John Collins under the belt. We'll see what they do. They could be a really good team this year, relative to what they've been doing, the past few years. Not saying they're gonna be like a top 4 seed or something, but they may sneak in an 8 seed, maybe. No, okay. I didn't think so either. But they'll be like about maybe like 9, 10 seed. Trae Young, number 8. At number 7, Mike Conley. And the reason I have Mike Conley ahead of Trae Young is, Mike Conley doesn't put up amazing stats, but he plays defense, and the Trae Young does not. He will always be a liability. Um, you have to have good wing players around Trae Young to mask his horrible defense, but put Mike Conley one on one against a point guard, he's gonna hold his own. He's gonna be okay. He's gonna be all right. And then on the other side, now they have a ball dominant. They have a ball dominant guard in Donovan Mitchell. Mike Conley's got the ball in his hands less, but that's okay because he can play off the ball. He can play off the ball really well, get his open shot. He shoots the three ball fairly well. So he doesn't need to have the ball in his hands, which makes him useful. Trae Young needs the ball in his hands more, especially being as small as he is. He's going to have a tough time getting around screens. Well, that's on defense, but like getting open on offense off the ball, he'd be more difficult for Trae Young to do than Mike Conley. Number 7, Conley. Number 6, ahead of Mike Conley, I have Ben Simmons. The reason I have Ben Simmons above Mike Conley is they both play really good defense. But Ben Simmons brings something to the fast break that nobody in the league can match at the point guard position. Mostly because of his size. He's 6'10" point guard. Like, what you gonna do? Get in his way? You gonna get bowled over. Like, you can't stop him on a fast break. That's when he's at his best. Obviously, we all know he can't shoot the three, but if he could, he'd be a generational player. Generational. He averages what, 17, 8, and 8, something around that. Without having to shoot the three ball at all, give him a three, it's over. It's over. That's really the only thing holding him back is his lack of a shot. As he can get to the rim, he can dish the ball, he can defend, he can rebound, he can do everything except shoot. Number 6, Ben Simmons. Now, number 5, I have someone that's a defensive liability as well, Kyrie Irving. He can score. We all know he can score. He's flashy. He can facilitate the ball incredibly well. He doesn't rebound the ball all that much, but he's never really needed to with the centers that he's had on his team. The only thing that I question with Kyrie Irving is his leadership ability. If you're going to be the best player on the team, you're going to have some sort of leadership ability. You can't not talk to the players on your team for a month at a time. The lack of his ability to help make that team a cohesive unit really like prevented them from being a damn good team because they have a bunch of damn good players. Too many good players, maybe. But when all those egos clash and collide, that's why teams always want a nice veteran presence to help manage all those egos, manage all those expectations. And Kyrie Irving is just not there yet. I'm hoping he switches that up when he gets to the Brooklyn Nets. Because it could be the best player on the team again, at least until Kevin Durant gets back. But Kyrie Irving can't play defense, but he's such an offensive weapon. He can't be any lower than number 5 on my list. At number 4, I have Kemba Walker. And I have Kemba Walker above Kyrie Irving. 1, Kemba Walker made All-NBA third team this year. And 2, they put up like damn near the exact same stats. Go look it up on Basketball Reference. Put up the exact same stats. But Kemba Walker's more humble. Neither of them can really play defense that well. They're kind of small. But they put up the same stats on the offensive side of the ball. But Kemba Walker, you guys didn't know, he went up to the second, third year players, Jason Tatum, Jaylen Brown, asked him what does it take to win? That man's 28, 29, veteran, asking these young second year players, third year players, what does it take to win? That's humble. Kyrie Irving would never do that. I'm speculating, but Kyrie Irving, I don't think would ever do that. And this humility, this ability to go forth, ask his teammates for help, ask his teammates insight, knowing because he's never been in a winning situation, what it takes to win, really shows that he cares about winning, cares about the game, cares about his team, and that puts Kemba Walker above Kyrie Irving in my book because they're on paper they're the exact same player. And number 3, Russell Westbrook, Mr. Triple Double. Last couple of years, he was number 2 on my list probably. He fell off this year for me a little bit. His stats were lower, only because Paul George is playing on an MVP level, so that doesn't really hurt him at all. But look at his free throw percentage. He shot 60-something% from free throw. Sorry, 60-something% from free throw, and like 28% from 3 or something horrible. His shooting declined an incredible amount this year. Free throw shooting and 3-point shooting, which is why he dropped a spot on my list from last year. He's still amazing. He plays tenacious defense. Can obviously rebound the ball. Can score at any point in time. Get to the rim, dunk on you, do all of that. But he can't shoot well enough for me to justify putting him higher on this list. Above my number 2 player, Dame Dollar. I don't know what to say. You guys saw the playoffs. He ended the Oklahoma City Thunder current roster. He said bye to Paul George. He went to the Clippers. Bye to Russell. He went to the Rockets. Teamed up with James Harden. He ended what they were doing at the moment. The man's filthy, nasty. Made it to the Western Conference Finals this year. Carried the team on his back. They got swept by the short-handed Warriors, though. But besides that, Dame has been playing on an MVP type level. Um, I don't really think that I need much justification for why he's the number two. And the number one, Steph Curry, greatest shooter of all time. Um, I don't think anyone questions that he's still the best point guard in the league just because of how dangerous he is and how much teams have to focus on him when doing their game plan. So let me know what you guys think of my top 10 point guards list. I think it's pretty solid. You can maybe make an argument for De'Aaron Fox being there over Kyle Lowry, but I think my order is pretty solid. But let me know what you guys think. That's all I got for you guys now. Next video for me be top 10 shooting guards, and it should be a really interesting one. Real interesting one. Peace. Thanks for watching.